Hi there, viewer. Welcome back. The following video you're about to see is something that I've wanted to do on my channel ever since I started it back in July of 2022. An object show related iceberg. For those who have absolutely no idea, an iceberg chart is a sort of image chart of like a certain topic or media. At the top of the iceberg is the stuff that everybody knows about, and the deeper you go, the more obscure things get. Today, I'll go over the object show Lost Media Iceberg. There are a couple that I found off of Google, but this one I just created on my own. Get your submarines, people, because this is a deep one. It's finally time we jump right into the object show Lost Media Iceberg. I hope you enjoy.
Oh yeah, guys, I forgot to mention this, but if you get bored of me yapping, I'll provide some Roblox footage in the background to entertain you guys, okay? Cool. Total Fruit Island. This is the first entry on the iceberg, the most well-known lost object show being Total Fruit Island. I'm not going to go too in-depth because so many people have already talked about it, but it was the second object show ever made, before Random Insanity, but after BFDI. The host was this Asian Orange. There were 2 episodes, Race Up Death Mountain and Stuck Between Walls. Designs were also based off of a website known as Cutie Fruities. I'm not going to elaborate, but there are a couple of videos about Total Fruit Island that I will link in the description. Battle for a Wish. Battle for a Wish was a show created by Ploopyzuki back in 2012. It must have been deleted pretty early on because a re-upload of one of the episodes can be found on Wuggle's channel. Wuggle would later go on to host a multi-animator project for the episode that she re-uploaded. There are a couple of episodes of the show that have been archived. I'll link a description of a playlist with all the episodes that have been archived, I think. But yeah, the show, some of the episodes are still lost, but these are what we can find of the show. Land of the Objects. Land of the Objects was a show created by Golden Zumi back in 2013. There was an earlier iteration called Objects, but I'll talk about that later down the iceberg. The show had some pretty nice voice talents, such as Ultratunes and Samuel Thornberry, but the episodes were lost for a while before the reboot of Land of the Objects was uncovered, as well as the original version. I also heard a rumor that there were supposedly more episodes of the original version that weren't archived, though I don't know if that's true or not. The Optical and the Illusions. The Optical and the Illusions was a show created back in 2012 by a user named Super Mighty Michael. The show had about 21 contestants, I believe, and some of the characters were Cup, Boomerang, Crown, and Bowling Ball. I think those are some of the characters, but it was rumored that the reason why the show was cancelled and deleted is because the creator was actually bullied by another object show YouTuber named Retro Guy, who I'll be talking about later on the iceberg. However, Michael said in the comments of a video, I think by Doggy Arts, that the actual reason why he deleted the show is because he was in love with a girl at school and did not want to be embarrassed in front of her, so he deleted his cringeworthy episodes. Objects Fighting for Volcano Island was a show created by Kradslair in 2012. It was done using Flipnote, and the animation was a little creepy. A re-upload of the intro can be found on Wuggle's channel, and she was supposedly a helper for the show, a sort of animator. Quite a few episodes have been re-uploaded by a user by the name of Cyanified. If you want to watch them, I'll put a link in the description if you are curious. The reason why the show was lost because out of nowhere, Kradslair just deleted his channel all of a sudden. Nobody knows where he went. And it's unlikely that we'll ever know. Skullfire Island was one of the very first pieces of BFDI media ever. It was an old comic series created by, I think, Carrie in 2008. It's kind of like Total Drama Island, both BFDI characters. The comics were lost for a long time before Carrie found them in his room, and now the full series is able to be read online. Objectify was a very old show created by Ultratoons, the creator of Object Mayhem, on his old account called Kingsley2468. It came out a week before Object Mayhem, but it was cancelled because he didn't have an interest in continuing it. The episodes were lost, but Ultratoons himself re-uploaded the episode, and now it can be viewed on his channel. Extraordinarily Excellent Entities 7 deleted scene. This is a deleted scene in EEE episode 7. At the beginning, there was supposed to be this scene where Chocolate Bar says that they're gonna go to the church, but then everybody on the show comes out as LGBT, and Chocolate Bar is being homophobic towards them. The scene received an incredible amount of backlash when it was first released, resulting in Webbs deleting the episode with the scene along with it, and for a long time it was thought that the scene would never resurface. However, it turns out that our good pal Wuggle actually had the scene the entire time, and Wuggle gave the scene to Webbs, and he re-uploaded it. He made a video talking about his thought process behind the scene. Basically, it was just because he was just an edgy teenager mad about the poor reception of the show. That's why he made the scene, and now it can be viewed. There is one element to this scene that has not been found, and I'll discuss that later. Object Land. Object Land was a very old show created by Dorm Life Official, I think back in 2013. The show was relatively popular, as a re-upload of the episodes actually has 1 million views on YouTube. The show was deleted. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that apparently Dorm Life did something bad, I think, but his channel was deleted and along with the show, but the episodes have been re-uploaded of the original series as well as the reboot. Mystique Island was an old show created in 2012. It was praised at the time for good writing, but for some reason, the creator just stopped uploading. What happened is that they just made a video, they made the episode, then they made a video, like a sub-special, and then they uploaded a scene of episode 2, and then nothing happened. It's unknown what happened to the show, but the good thing is that the episode has been re-uploaded, and now you can view it. Object Redundancy is infamous for being one of the worst object shows ever made, and for good reason. The show was just really dumb. It just felt like it was made by a dumb, edgy teenager trying to be edgy. Anyway, so the show was created by Years Animations, now known as Tauno. I'm guessing Tauno just hated this show, so we deleted the episodes, but they can be found. They were re-uploaded. It's still one of the worst object shows of all time, and I'm glad that the creator sees what kind of terrible trash fire he came up with. And that's a wrap for Layer 2. Now things are gonna start to become a little more mysterious. Let's press on. Snack Time is a very infamous show. If you've seen this clip of this strawberry person swearing into a phone, then you know what I'm talking about. It was different from other shows in the fact that it was more of a comedy kind of show, like a sitcom. Apparently there was also supposed to be a Snack Time movie, but only the trailer can be found of it during ObjectCon, I think of 2013 or 2014. Not much else is known about the show. Objects at Sea was a show created by Tyler's Cool back in 2015, I think. The show, all the contestants were on like a boat and they had to go around exploring. The show was deleted when Tile, for some reason, deleted a bunch of videos off his channel including some of his Object Show related videos. The only Object Show one that he didn't delete was his one Death compilation. The episodes were gone, but then they were re-uploaded by the Object Show archive. The original BFB3 was the original script for the episode. Originally, the challenge was a reverse race. Also, Beep was up for elimination again. It was pretty different. Although Satomi thought the episode was funny, Michael criticized it for the lack of humor, resulting in the episode that we have now. The concept of a reverse race was later used for BFDI Mini seriously. Removed Inanimate Insanity characters. Inanimate Insanity had a couple of removed characters who didn't make it into the second season, I meant to say. Some of the characters that were not included were Hey Bale, who was kind of southern, Frank, who was like a hot dog and he was cool. There was this hot sauce dude who spoke Spanish. There was also this Pearl the girl, that rhymes, Crystal Ball, Game Boy Color, Textbook, and Goggles. Goggles was kind of like the prototype test tube. Hey Bale and Frank would later be used in Inanimate Insanity Infinity, while it's theorized that Pearl's personality was later used for Silver Spoon in Inanimate Insanity Invitational. Object Island was an old show created by Awesome Catman, the recommender of 9-Ball and the voice actor of Conch Shell on BFDI. The show, I think, was done with PowerPoint, and there were about 6 episodes. I found an account called Object Island Lost Media who re-uploaded some of the episodes. In the comments of episode 6, you can see Awesome Catman requesting for the episodes to be taken down, which may be the reason why he deleted the show in the first place. He just finds it cringeworthy. The Horrible Robbers was an old short created in 2013 by Anko6, the creator of Brawly Objects. The short basically involved Boombox from Brawly Objects, Spongy from BFDI, and this watermelon character, likely from Battle for Gold, which I'll be talking about later in the Iceberg, all of them enacting in some sort of like robbery scheme, and failing miserably. The only things that are found of the short are some clips from this Object Show compilation, and it's unknown if Anko still has a copy of the short. That's a wrap for Layer 3. Now we're gonna get a little more obscure with Layer 4. Next top thingy was a show created by Retro Guy. It was deleted, I think, when Retro Guy deleted his channel. However, the episodes were re-uploaded by the Object Show archived. Really isn't a whole lot to this one. Lost Troc entries. Troc, also known as the Race of Children, is a very popular joke object cam created by Zany Leaves. Sometimes some of the entries of some of the contestants on the show have been deleted by their uploaders. A good example would be with Hyven, the creator of Thanos and an animator for BFDI and Inanimate Insanity. He played a character in Troc 4 and 5 named Little Kids Radio. However, all the videos of this are lost media, they were deleted. However, apparently some were re-uploaded or found via a kill count video. Objects was an object show. It's the prototype to Land of the Objects. Although Land of the Objects is found, Objects has barely any surviving footage of it. The only thing that can be found of the show is this one photograph of the characters. Battle for Gold was a show created by Animation Creator. The show had some pretty good voice talent such as Wuggle and Samuel Thornberry, but the show was deleted for some reason. Luckily, the episodes were re-uploaded by by the Graveyard of YouTube. Super Object Smackdown was a show created in 2014 by a user named Quality Crystal Productions. Not much else can be found on the show, except for a couple reaction videos by a user named Alex Kane, as well as the intro, which was in a top 10 worst object show intros list. Cyanified, the same user who re-uploaded a lot of the episodes of Objects Fighting Volcano Island, apparently has some of the episodes. However, Gusta Boy, one of the crew members on the show, tells him he cannot share it on them online. Island of Mayhem was a show created by a user simply called Eliminator. It was like a PowerPoint show, your pretty standard PowerPoint show. The only things that could be found of the episodes are some re-uploads as well as some auditions made by some of the people who worked on the show. And hey, Jacob Fairclough was on the show. That's pretty cool. Paper Puppets Take 2 Prototype. This was the prototype to Paper Puppets Take 2 made by Yellow and Guru. Hey, that rhymes. Basically, the original prototype contained some of the new characters such as Journal and Bubble Wrap, while also some other characters that didn't appear such as Rotting Flesh and Aquamine. It was taken down because I think Wuggle put out like a poll if they wanted the show to be animated or not animated, and it resulted in the animated Paper Puppets Take 2 that we know today. A re-upload of the episode can be found. Program Zone was an old show created by Mapmaker42. The show, all the characters were like applications, like Facebook and Flash. The show was gone and deleted for a bit, but the show was re-uploaded, all 6 episodes re-uploaded by the Graveyard of YouTube, so at least there's that. Anyway, that's a wrap for Layer 4, now it's time to go even deeper with Layer 5. Battle for Atlantis Resort was an old show created by Jaggerbug back in 2012. It was one of the oldest object shows ever made. But now, sadly, it has lost media because the episodes were deleted, obviously. I think only like episode 3 has been re-uploaded. Also, I was on Justin Chapman's IMDb page. Apparently, he was on this show, so that's interesting. Gamer World is a lost object show that doesn't seem to have any surviving footage. There are a couple of pictures of it, though. The show, all the characters were like video game related items. There's a video by Cyanified, this animation test. Some thought it was Gamer World because he uploads object show lost media, and also there was this like NES guy in it, but he said that it's not Gamer World. Battle for a Trip to Football World is another very obscure show from 2012. Not much is known about the show, but one commenter on the OSC wiki article about it is apparently they used the Upside Down Inanimate Insanity Mouse. Inanimate Madness was a show created by Maximum Power 2002, who you may know for doing that one Ice Cube line where she was like, I wanted to go to Magic Dance 32! The show received a lot of backlash for bad animation, which is likely why the creator deleted the episodes. The only thing that can be found is a reaction video of one of the episodes. Object Spear was a show created by ID Animations in 2017. One of the more recent shows. It had about 20 contestants battling for about like $500,000, I believe. The show was deleted when ID deleted their channel, and all that could be found is a reaction to one of the episodes as well as a couple intros. The show actually had a reboot called Despair of the Island, which has been thankfully fully found. Fight of the Objects was an older show created by Tilespool, the creator of Objects at Sea. Like Objects at Sea, it was deleted when he deleted most of his videos. The only thing that I could find of this show was the intro. Infection was going to be a show made by Zany Leaves. the creator of Object Overload, and the voice actor of 2. However, it must have been cancelled. Some poses of the characters can be found on Zany's DeviantArt, but it's very unlikely that the show will ever see the light of day because in September 16th, in a tweet, he's claimed that he has no remaining files of the show. They were long gone, they're deleted, so we'll probably never see it. That's a shame. Item Survival Battle was supposedly the second object show ever made before Total Fruit Island and after BFDI. It was apparently created in March 2010 by a user named Tasmo. A channel called Intasmo Archives, who's apparently Intasmo's brother, was re-uploading some of the episodes. However, somebody in the comments claimed that they used some sort of format to make the episodes look old, and it turns out that this show never actually existed. It was just made purely for the sake of this cool lost media. But the creator said that he would still upload content from the show. And that's Layer 5 for you. Let's get a little more obscure with Layer 6. The Battery Show was an object show created by Mendusaka, I believe it's pronounced, in 2014. It was a non-competition show centering around Battery and his friends going on adventures. Luckily, a couple of episodes and scenes from episodes have been archived, and I will link a playlist in the description of the archived episodes. Inanimate Insanity Documentary. The Inanimate Insanity Documentary was a documentary created by Justin Chapman, one of the co-creators of Inanimate Insanity. It was basically Adam and Brian explaining about the show, basically. It was made a little after Season 1 ended. At an unknown time, the video became privated and lost media. However, it was re-uploaded by a user named Object Redemption Fan 67, I believe his name was. And now it can be viewed. 66 Stories is the oldest and most obscure show created by Tyler Cool. Like his other shows, it was privated when he privated most of his other object show content, and now it was lost media. Luckily, the only episode of the show was archived, and you can watch it now. Inanimate Objects Season 3 Episode 26 was an episode of Inanimate Objects, which was the very first show ever made by Vince Doyen, who you may know for creating Village of Objects. The episode came out in 2018, I think 2 years after the previous episode. In 2019, Vince's old channel was terminated, and when he created his new channel, Showered Waters, this episode was not archived. Today, the only things that can be found in the episode are a couple of screenshots. Battle for the Number 9 was a show created by Dottie C. Swifty in either 2020 or 2021. The show used paper cutouts, similar to paper puppets, and there was also apparently a second season. The show was very obscure. In one of the screenshots we have available of the episode, it says that it only received 11 views in 4 months. Because of this, I believe it's very unlikely that the episode will ever resurface. Battle for Treasure Island was a show created sometime in 2018, though the exact date is unknown. The show was your pretty standard paper cutout show. The host was literally 4 from Battle for Dream Island, and some of the characters included Toast, Quarter, and Orange Pen. As of right now, the only thing that can be found of the show are a couple screenshots. That should be it for Layer 6. Now, let's move on to Layer 7. The Inanimate Insanity Polish fandub was fandub of Inanimate Insanity that was Polish. It's kind of like saying the floor is made out of floor. Anyway, the Fandub, the first 6 episodes of Season 2 were translated into the Polish language, but sadly, all the episodes seemed to be lost, as I was unable to find any of them. There's very little information about the show, though we do know that the knife was played by a user named like the Glutton77 or something. Just look at Knife's article on the Unanimous Any Wiki, then you'll see. World of the Objects was a show created by FriesFan7778 back in 2014. It was a show with PowerPoint, and a couple characters were like OCs. I think one of them was Spartan Dash's puppet character. There were apparently 2 seasons, but sadly the show was deleted because FriesFan7778 deleted his channel, causing all the episodes to be lost media. But some episodes are found. Living Objects was a very obscure show created by Sam Thornberry, creator of Object Show 87 and Object Universe. He's also one of the lead writers of BFDI at the moment. There doesn't seem to be any visual surviving evidence of this show. The only evidence that we know it existed comes from Yellow and Guru, who said something about it on his Twitter. The show's intro can also be found using the Wayback Machine thumbnail for it, but apparently there was only like 1 episode, and the host was a pizza, and some of the characters were a car and the computer. And it's unknown if Sam even has a copy of the episode. Fusion Animation's 2017 Bounce Back animation tutorial were a set of old tutorials made by very popular Fusion Animations to teach people how to animate. But now, the videos are gone and they cannot be found. The BFDI December 26 short was an old scrapped short that was going to be made for BFDI in around December 2016. The only thing that we know about the short is that it would have involved Flower falling off of broken train tracks in some way, thanks to some storyboards that we still have access to. BFDI 50 million views video was a scrap video meant to celebrate 50 million views of BFDI 1A, I think. Basically, Michael first showed a teaser for it in June of 2014, saying that he's working on it, and it would have involved Flower in some way, possibly. And they said that later in July that they were still working on it, but nothing else about the thing has been uncovered since. Later that same month, some files were uploaded to JavaScript that said 50M, which could have been related to the episode because 50 million can be shortened to 50M, but there really isn't anything in it. Instead, it just shows a skybox. And that's it for layer 7. Now we finally going to move on to the final layer, and this is where things really start to get unknown. I'm a spoon gender. So you remember in layer 2 when I talked about the deleted scene from Extraordinarily Excellent Entity 7 and how there was one more element to the scene that is still lost? Well, this is it. During the scene, there's this one part where Tub of Lard claims that he's a spoon gender, whatever that means. However, when the Webs made the video about the deleted scene, this part of the scene wasn't with it. And as a result, it is still lost, and it can only be viewed through the low-quality reaction video. BFDI Shapeways figures were little figurines created by the website Shapeways that were like 3D printed little figurines of BFDI characters. As of right now, all of the characters are lost media and they cannot be found. And the only reason we know they existed in the first place was from a live stream that Michael held. And it's possible that they may have been taken down due to being expensive and impractical, because that's how Michael describes them in the live stream. Total Object Island was one of the first object shows ever made, created by Alex Lyon 0511, who you may know for being the recommender of Marker and the creator of Find the Markers. This show was recently discovered by an object show YouTuber named RedoStone35 in his video where he talks about how he found the show while looking at an image of BFDI through the Wayback Machine. Later, Alex would talk about some stuff in the show. There was only one episode, and two of the characters included a candle and a slice of cheese. Not much else is known about the show, though, and it's very unlikely it will ever see the light of day again. The Swallowhair 3000 subscriber special was a subscriber special made by the infamous object show YouTuber Swallowhair, known for creating Object Terror, which is one of the worst object shows ever made. The plot was about Wallet from Object Terror going around, and I think it was about like him killing a bunch of people who didn't have the same Fortnite skin as him or something. It was like some sort of meme at the time, but it's now been deleted and you cannot find it anywhere. And it's unknown if Swallowhair even has a copy of the short. Given Swallow's left the OSC, I find it very unlikely that it will ever see the light of day again. And finally, wrapping up this iceberg is a piece of lost media that I personally remember. That being Battle for Windows XP. Battle for Windows XP was a show, I don't remember who created it, but I think it came out sometime in 2022. It had 10 contestants, but I can only remember 3 of them. I know for a fact that these 3 characters were in the show. The 4th one, I don't know too much. They were Lego Brick, Christmas Tree, Plush, and the 4th one that I think might have been in the show, but I don't remember exactly. His name was Roblox Logo. The first episode started with Lego Brick talking to Plush, and then like some unknown mean characters like bullying him for some reason. Then Christmas Tree asked Lego if he could be his friend, and then he said no, which made Christmas Tree cry. I think there were like 2 teams of 5, and Lego Brick got out first, and then he apologized to Christmas Tree for what he said. But the show was like a joke show. I think there was also a season 2, but I don't know any information about that. Also, Christmas Tree was a finalist in season 1, I remember that. But, I have found absolutely nothing about the show. I can't find any of it anywhere. So, if any of you guys know this show or who created it, please help me out, because I want to eventually find out this thing.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Took a pretty long time to make, so support is appreciated. Before I go, I just want to thank you guys for 300 subs. I never thought I was actually going to reach this point, but here we are. Anyways, I'd also suggest 2 videos, one by Daryl and the other by Colorado Vista. Their Object Show Lost Media videos are cool, and you should go check those guys out. Oh yeah, and make sure to tell me any information you have about Battle for Windows XP in the comments